this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a fully responsive HTML email under 30 minutes using MJML. Hey friends, and welcome to MJML. My name is Tobias, and on this video I want to show you how MJML has made my life a lot easier. If you don't know what MJML is, make sure to keep an eye on this channel, as I will be uploading a bunch more videos on how MJML works and how to get started using MJML. I've been practicing with designing and developing custom HTML emails for a bit now and decided to create this practice design here. This email design here is derived from a company called Warstick. They sell all kinds of baseball equipment. All the links to resources used in this video will be in the description down below, including the full MJML document. So before we get into MJML itself, let's check out the design document I made. So as you can see here, we got a couple of sections. We got a logo bar, we got a welcome section, we got a discount section, we got a why section, a video section, and some guarantees and a footer. So I've already uploaded all the images I need and all the files I need to my file server, so I can access them externally. And let's get right into the MJML. So as always, we start off by using the MJML tags, and what I like to do is always start off with my head and input all the styles I need. So first off, we need a font. It's a Google font. It's called Quantico, and I actually have the page open here. We need this link for the font, and we'll link it to there. So now actually style our MJML attributes. So let's start off with the MJ text. I want this to be font family Quantico, of course. Let's copy it so we don't make mistakes. I want this to be any sans serif fallback font. Now I want all my text to be aligned in the center. I want the font size to be 18 pixels, and I want the line height to be, let's see what I had. I had 26 pixels. I'm looking at my design document on the other screen. Now, color, I want every text to be white. That's 6 times F. And since MJML applies padding to every element by default, I'm gonna set the padding to 0 pixels. Now let's get to the images. Every image also has a default padding, which I'm gonna remove. Not 10, 0 pixels. And that's it for the image. Now let's get on to the button. I'm gonna style the button here as much as we can, so we don't have to do that along the way. Button. Now, let's start off with the background color. That's gonna be the gold. Let me check my document and copy over the correct value. All right, this should be the gold. All right, I want the font size to be 14 pixels. I want the color of the text inside the button to be black. Then I want, of course, the font family. Let's not forget that, otherwise we're gonna have different font styles inside of the buttons. Let's use this one as well. Let's also use this text transform, because we want the text to be uppercase. And let's set the border radius to 0, because MJML applies a standard border radius to the buttons, and we don't want that for this design. So let's set the standard height to 45 pixels and the standard width to 200 pixels. That should be it for the button. Now let's get on to the section, because every section also comes with padding pre-applied, and I actually don't want that, so we'll set that padding to 0 as well. Then we want to create 2 classes. For the headings we have, for the main headings, or actually, no, we only need 1 class. So we're gonna create 1 class for the headings. The name is gonna be head text, and then I want the font size to be 48 pixels, and I want the line height to be 69 pixels. And all the headings needs to be uppercase, so we're gonna do a text transform as well of uppercase. That should be it for all our attributes, and let's go ahead to the MJ body tag. So MJ body, and we're gonna create the logo bar first. So on the section with a column, no defined width, we input the image, and it's linked to my web server. So logo.png. I'll just put an alt text of logo. That is quite big, so we'll set the width to width to 128 pixels. What we also didn't do, what we have to do, because every section has a black background, we can do that in the attributes section and set the background of every section to black. So we'll do that. And as you can see, we have a black background now. Now what I like to do as well, this is just personal, I like to give the body a color. And I normally use, I think it was F1, 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 so we get this grayish tone. And now let's give this image a padding all around of 20 pixels. So that is our logo section. Now I always like to add some comments so I know what's where. So we'll add a comment of logo section here. Now let's get on to the next section, which is the welcome section. Also a simple section, pretty much like this. So we'll copy this section, paste it. We'll change the image to hero image, and we'll remove the width because we want this to be 100%. And then we want the alt text to be whatever on the text or what describes the text, and we'll do welcome to the team because that's on the image itself. As you can see, the padding is still here. We want to remove that because we want it to have side to side, and that's fixed like that. All right, let's get on to the next section, which is the discount section where we give the discount code. So let's add a comment for it. And for that section, we want a section, of course, a column, no defined width. We want inside there an image. That's the, let's copy this to make it easier for ourselves. That's the discount image, if I call correctly. Yes, that's it. This one we want to have a width of 500 on, so let's do that. And on every side, on left and right, not top and bottom, we want some padding, so we'll do padding left 50 pixels, padding right 50 pixels. I want that because when we go into mobile, or when we scale, we don't want to, or at least I don't want to have the image stuck on the sides, and this way it gives some more breathing room. So this image is pretty much stuck to the other image on top because we removed all the paddings from the sections. So let's give the discount section a padding top of, let's say 80 pixels, I think it was. Yeah, that looks correct. And now let's move on to the alt text. The alt text is going to be whatever is on the image. Thanks for signing up, warrior. Enjoy 10% of your next order. Now, in the same column, we want the text, or sorry, a button that says claim your 10% off now. Or actually, it says get 10% off now. So let's stick to the design. As you can see, our button is here, and it's all styled and well, because we already defined all the styles for the button up here, which saves us a lot of time. Otherwise, we need to input all of this right inside of this bracket. And this way it looks cleaner, more scannable for yourself, and it's easier. So we want to have a little padding on top of this button so it doesn't stick to the image that much. Give it 20 pixels. And underneath the button, we want another text with the discount code, like a physical discount code, so they can copy and paste it if they want. So we'll say or use code, and we'll come up with a code on checkout. I think this is a little bit too big, so we're gonna say inside font size of 12 pixels. That looks fine. That looks better. So we've applied a padding all around of 20 pixels on the button, and I actually only wanted to have it on the top. So let's change that, and now the text is closer to the button, which I like more. All right, let's move on to the Y section. I'm gonna put in some comments again, and we'll start with section and a column, of course, and we're gonna add a text because we're gonna use our MJ class, which we made is the head text. So let's set an MJ class of head text, and inside of there we want to have Y war stick. Of course, it already applies our style of head text because we defined that here. Now what I want to do now is I want to give this column a width of 400 pixels, so the text stays inside of it, and I want to give it a padding bottom of 15 pixels, so the text that's going to be underneath it doesn't stick to it. I also want to give this section a padding top of 80, so it doesn't stick to this the section above, and overall I want to give this section a padding left of 20 pixels and a padding right of 20 pixels as well. Now, let's actually create a new column inside, and we'll give this column a width of 420 pixels. This is going to be our text section, and we'll put in MJ text. Now let's go ahead and copy over this text here and paste it in there, and we'll have our little text box here. So underneath it we want to have the image, so let's insert an MJ image tag, and we'll take this link again, and I think it's called yimage.png. Yes, that's it. And then we have the image here, and we'll give it an alt of learn more, and we want to have this linked to somewhere because it's there's a button in it. We want people to click it, and we'll just link it to let's say Google. We also want this to happen when we click on the button here, so let's insert it there as well. And we also want this to happen when we click on this hero image, so let's insert it there as well. Now we have our Y section done. Let's move on to the next section, which is the video section. Inside the video section we're gonna create a section again, and we're gonna just pre-apply the padding to the top of 80. And inside we're gonna create a MJ column. I want this MJ column to be the width of 400 pixels, and let's give it a padding bottom of 15 pixels. This is the same headline column. So actually let's just copy this and paste it in here, and we'll make this be the storm. Now underneath that we want another text block, and in the text we're gonna say check out our latest video. Underneath the text we want an image. Let's scroll down so we can see what we're doing. We want an image that's linked from this again, and it's called video image. If I'm correct, yes it is. And there's our video image. Now as you can see, our image is inside of our column, which we have given a width. For this section we don't want to give it a width because we want the image to be all the way from side to side, but we still want to have this text not touching when we're going down. So what I want to do is add some padding left and right on the heading text of 20 pixels, and we'll do that here on the right side as well. And you can see when we scale down now, it doesn't stick to the sides. Keep some space. Actually, if we spell this right, it will do it for both sides. All right. So that's our video section almost completed because this text is stuck to this video. So let's give the image a padding top of, let's say, 20 pixels. Yeah, that looks fine. Since this image will link to a video, we'll also insert the href here, so it's a clickable image. Yeah, that works. Next section is going to be the services section. And we're going to do this a little different. We're going to insert an MJ section with a column inside of it. And inside that, we're going to do our heading text again. So we'll do MJ text. And we'll say outstanding service. We'll give this an MJ class of head text, because that's what it's going to be. But we'll also apply to the text some paddings. So we'll do padding right 20 pixels, padding left 20 pixels, and I actually made a little mistake here, because if we check our design file, this is not a head text. These are the heading texts, and this is a smaller one with 30 pixels. So we're gonna actually remove the class and say font size 30 pixels. But now it's not uppercase anymore, so we'll also say text transform uppercase. Now that looks fine. We'll add the padding to the top of the section again, so it doesn't stick to the section above it. And now it's a section on its own. Now we're going to create a new section. It's called the guarantees section. And we'll start off with the section, of course, again. And inside the section, we'll create a column. This column is going to have a width of 200 pixels and a padding all around of 20 pixels. Now let's give this section some padding. We want a padding top of 30 pixels. Let's space it out here. So let's give it a padding left of 50 pixels and a padding right of 50 pixels. All right, so we're going to insert the truck. This is an image. It's from here. It's called truck.png, and there it is. We don't have to give it an alt, but we do have to give it a width. And I want to use width 40 pixels. Let's see. Beneath that, we want to add some text, MJ text. Let's actually space this out, tab this out. That says express delivery. Now it's pretty big and stuck to the truck, so let's give it a font size, first of all, of 12 pixels and a line height of 21 pixels. And let's say padding top is 15 pixels. That looks better. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this whole column, copy it, enter, and paste it. Enter, paste it, enter, paste it. And as you can see, looks pretty much the same. And that's our guarantee section done. Now you could change out the images of the trucks, but this is just a placeholder. You could do like a shipping date and that kind of stuff. But for now, this is fine. So let's get on to the payments section we have here. I decided there's a lot of payment options here. I decided to only take 7 or 6. And I'll show you how I did that. So let's create the payments section. Create a section. And since this is pretty close to the section above, padding top, let's say 10 pixels. And we also give it some padding bottom actually of 80 pixels. So underneath there is going to be the footer, and then we already have that padding. So let's add in a column. We don't have to give this any width. And actually here's a little trick I learned. Because if we insert an image here and we'll link that, let's say, we'll say pay1.png, I think it is. Yeah, we have it here. And we'll give this a width of 35 pixels. I have to spell width right. Then if what you would normally try to do is add the image below it, but then it gets stuck under it. So then you think, let's actually copy the column and paste it underneath it, but you're gonna have a lot of space. So when you add a couple, you have to do the paddings and stuff like that, and it's just too much hassle. So what I found out is that you can simply use an MJ text block, and we'll actually take this image, remove this column, take the image and put it inside of the text block. But this doesn't work because inside of the text block it only takes text or raw HTML. So what we're going to do is image source, and this will link the same to pay1.png. We're going to give it a width of 35 pixels, and we're also going to style it and give it a padding of 20 or of 5 pixels. As you can see, this is just raw HTML. So now if we take this and we paste it 7 times, that's 6, 7 times, you can see they're pretty much nice and spaced out like we have here. And we don't have to do all crazy things. So the only thing we gotta do now is say pay 3, pay 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we have all our payment options here. And also if we go to mobile, they will just collapse as we go down, which is perfect. It's such an easy solution. Now, next section we're gonna do is the footer, and then we're almost done. Let's create a section. The footer is a different background color, so let's actually get that. Background color is gonna be this. Let's not forget the equals. We're gonna give it a padding at the bottom of 30 pixels. All right, let's first of all, what we have is a couple of images, our social icons. So let's do the same trick we did above. Create a column. This time we're gonna give the column a width of 300 pixels and some padding on the top of 30 pixels. And inside we're gonna simply add in another text block. Let's grab this real quick. Insert it in there. This is called facebook.png. The width I want to be 25 pixels and 5 pixels padding is fine. So let's paste this 3 or 2 times more because we have, or 4 times more actually, because we have Instagram as well. We have, I think it was Twitter again, and we have YouTube. Now that looks fine. These icons are a little different. I went with these ones because I thought they looked better. Now all there's to it is create a simple text section with some placeholder text. And the unsubscribe button, which we're gonna do differently. So let's put in this text. Actually, we have to give this another text or another style. Let's first of all set the color to simply, let's say, let's do 303030. We'll give the font family a different font family because that looks better. In the footer, we'll say Helvetica. We'll say font size 12 pixels. Line height, we'll do 14 pixels. Looks better, and we'll give it a little padding on the top of 15 pixels. All right. Now, let's, for the sake of it, it's stuck on settings. Let's just insert a line break to make the text look a little better. And let's insert another line break, so that's better, yeah. Now all there is to it is to create an MJ text for the unsubscribe link. Let's put in unsubscribe. And let's copy this style, because it looks the same. And we want to make this a link, so let's insert an href and link this to something random, let's say Google again. Close this up. And we have our unsubscribe button here. If you would like to style this, because it doesn't change, you can't change it here as well in the text, MJ text. Because if we say text, or if we give it a different color, as you can see, we tried to give it a different color, it doesn't work. So what you want to do is you want to remove that out there and actually go into the HTML part, the raw HTML, and say style. And in this you can do color, let's say black, and now it's black. So as you can see, we got our fully designed email here. It's mobile responsive as well. As you can see, it will collapse down. Now let's get into our terminal and let's go to the folder our file is in. And what we have to do now is convert the MJML file into an HTML file to use it to send emails. So what you need to type in is MJML R and then point to the MJML file, which is called index.html. And then as output, we're gonna do index.html. When we press enter, our index.html file is here, and when we open it, it's just fine here in our browser. So let's actually check the difference between MJML and HTML. Let's open this HTML file here. Let's close this real quick. As you can see, this is the converted HTML. All the styles are here. And it's a lot of code. It's 624 lines of code to be exact. And our MJML file is 145 lines of code. This is so much easier to use in this case. So what we're going to do now is actually open up our index file inside Visual Studio, copy all the text, and head out to our browser. And we're going to test our email. So go to putsmail. Let's say we'll use my Gmail, and for the sake of it, we'll also use my Outlook. And subject line will do MJML is awesome. Now we'll paste our full HTML code here and use the move CSS inline and send the email. Now we're here in Gmail and our email is here. We're gonna open it and check out how it looks. As you can see, it looks exactly the same as how we designed it. Now I also send it to my Outlook just to have a reference of how it looks on Outlook. As you can see, it looks exactly the same. As you can see here at the button, there's no text, and this is actually with Outlook, what Outlook does if you don't have a link to something in there. So just to show you that this email is responsive, we'll open the index file in Chrome again, use our Chrome DevTools and set it to responsive, and we'll scale this down to what's normal, like 480. As you can see on 480, looks fine, everything. This has collapsed, and these will collapse if we go down further. But I think the smallest device width is like 320, and even then it still looks fine. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I will be making a bunch more videos on MJML soon, so keep an eye out for those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Peace.